This is one of my videos. Here I'll be demonstrating how to plot the indifferent curve, particularly when there are more than one, which is referred to as indifference map. We'll be dropping other videos to add more, to explain more on the concept of indifference curve. So here we're assuming that we have two consumers, and each of these consumers have a different budget constraint. They have one is 1,000 naira, the other person is consumer B is 1,500 naira, and this budget is to be exhausted on two commodities, which is coke and bread. Now, the concept of indifference curve seeks to measure utility based on ranking. You understand? So we have this it's coke and bread. Let's correct that, coke and bread. And then we have table 1 and table 2, each to represent the two individuals involved. So from here, of course, you remember that you will recall that the budget of 1,000 naira or 1,500 naira is to be exhausted between bread and coke. So the price of bread, for instance, price of bread, which we will refer to as PB, as price of bread, then PC as the price of coke, will determine the number of coke and bread that each of the individuals will buy. All these numbers are hypothetical. We just formulate them to aid us in this analysis. So, and the number of coke that an individual will buy, this C represent coke, and B represent bread. So when you look at this, for every consumer there is a budget constraint. That means there is a budget line. So for which we say and this is the overall income of each of the individuals. You understand? So here we have how do I put it? Now we can have the budget function or budget equation to be like, okay, the number of coke or bread you can get, say PC times C plus PB times B equal to I. So whatever the price may be will determine how many of coke and how many of bread you will get. And for each of the individuals, for instance, consumer A spend 1,000 naira on all these goods, and consumer B will spend 1,500 naira on these goods. So they will all have different combination, and the purpose of this is to establish who or at what point a consumer is said to have achieved more satisfaction. In fact, we can even call this the same consumer at one point and at another point. You understand? Each of the table. So let's see what we can get. Let's see if we can put up a graph that will make sense. Let's see if we can put up a graph that will make sense. draw a straight line for the graph. We can also, that's the y-axis, the vertical axis. Let's see if we can draw the other graph here, the horizontal axis. You can represent any of the, you can use any of the axes to represent any of the commodity. So sorry about that. Then we can say the vertical axis represent coke. You can just say C, while the horizontal axis represent bread. The vertical axis represent bread. Now you can start by numbering. Of course, here will be 0. You can try to be scaled, try to be to write the numbers to scale as much as possible, so that at the end of the day your curve will align. You understand? So that your curve will align. So that your curve will align. 10, 11, 12. This is 12. 13. Maybe 14. Can even have 15. Just then you come here too. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, with this, you can start with consumer A. At a point where 2 loaf was consumed, 2 bread was consumed, we had 14 coke. So you go up here and you trace to this point, you trace upward. I know it's not going to be easy to have it smooth. That's one of the issues, but then you get that. Then for 12, there were 12 coke, there were 3 bread. Then when the coke is 10, we had 4. We had 4. We had 4 bread. Then at 8 coke, there is another combination. Please, you can start this so that you'll be able to trace it later. At 8 coke, we had 5 bread. Then at 6 coke, we had 6 bread. And 4 coke, we had 7 bread. And at 2 coke, we had 8 we had 8 bread. Now the reason this graph is appearing this way is because this map, this graph is not properly scaled. If it's properly scaled, it will definitely demonstrate the U shape, the U shape indifference curve. So let's say this is the indifference curve for, okay, I think this is a bit perfect, a bit okay. This is the indifference curve for consumer 1, that's IC1. So we can now try to plot the indifference curve for uh, consumer 2. So we start from 13. At 13, table 2, sorry, Coke was 13, right? And bread was 3. So you can just join it here, put another star here. When 11 Coke was consumed, 4 bread was consumed. So you just stop here. When 9 Coke was consumed, 5 bread was consumed. Now, when 7 Coke was consumed, 6. This another star. This another star. This another star. 6 bread was consumed. Then 7. The next thing we had was 4 straight. We retrace here, and then they were 7. Okay, here we're supposed to have 8. Sorry about that. You can see the issue. So you have 8, and here you have 10, then here you have 12. So now you can proceed. So when you had 3 Coke consumed, there were 10 bread, right? Then when just 1 Coke was consumed, then you had 12 bread consumed. Please, like I said, this was merely hypothetical. It does not represent anybody's consumption. So now, sorry about how ugly the curve looks like. Now this is IC2. So like I said, the numbers were made up, and that is why the graph almost intersect at one point here when 4 Coke was consumed in table 4, and of course, sorry, in table 2, when 4 Coke was consumed in table 2, because one of the properties of indifference curve is that two indifference curve do not cross. You cannot have an indifference curve like this. You can't have something like that. You can only have an indifference curve like this in an indifference map. You understand? So you can't have any form of intersection, either like this, or it now touches it and then move forward. No, it must not intersect. You understand? It must not what? Intersect. It must not intersect. It must not intersect. You understand? So this is what it implies. This is what we should get. So that's why we have this. You can draw a better um, indifference curve. When you're using a graph sheet, it makes it more beautiful. And if you are using a normal booklet in school or so, because the lines in the booklets were already scaled, so it will make it easier for you also to have a good skill, to have it well scaled. So you can use you can use if you have a broomstick, um, that you can just bend a little. You can use it to trace the asterisk point, so that you will now establish uh, your curve. So the the various points here, the various points in the indifference curve represent different level of satisfaction for the individual. But the idea now is that, right, at a combination, let's say here is A, B, C to whatever at this point, maybe F, G, the consumer or the individual is satisfied. The individual is what? Satisfied. It's indifferent if you decide to take 14 Coke and 2 brew. The individual is what? Is indifferent. The satisfaction remains unchanged. Where the satisfaction is said to have changed is when the individual is now maintaining IC2. When the individual is maintaining IC2, which means it has moved from IC1 to IC2. You will therefore conclude that the individual satisfaction has increased now. And of course, this will tally with the fact that the income also increased from 1,000 to 1,005. You understand? So we can say that IC2 represents a higher level of satisfaction, because the further an indifference curve is to the origin, the higher the level of satisfaction. You understand? So if, for instance, IC2 was the initial level of satisfaction for the individual, and for some reasons, maybe because one, we'll say the level of satisfaction has declined or reduced, or has, because the, the indifference is moving closer to the now, because the indifference curve is moving closer to the origin. So this is what the ordinary theories are investigating, or they are explaining that you can only rank satisfaction of individual. IC1 is set to rank higher. Sorry, IC2 is set to rank higher. IC1, IC2 is set to rank higher than IC1. So if for any reason income increases, we have another sorry, we have another indifference curve like this. Let's say IC3. You understand? IC1. This is basically what, if we have an IC3, it means that the consumer is enjoying a higher level of satisfaction. based on the fact that we have established earlier that the farther away an indifference curve is from the origin, the higher the level of satisfaction. The closer the indifference curve is to the origin, the lower the level of satisfaction. So for this individual, IC3 indicates a very high level of satisfaction. And if the reverse were to be the case where IC3 moved to IC1, then we have a lower level of satisfaction. So IC3 represents a higher level of satisfaction, while IC1 represents a lower level of satisfaction. This is what ranking means in the ordinalist approach to studying consumer behavior or measuring utility. Now, we are going to stop here. I believe and hope that this video has been able to improve your knowledge on this subject matter. There will be other videos, related videos, and any areas that may need clarification. So please feel free to drop comments on the comment section. Drop a question, drop a suggestion that will, suggestions that will help as I work to produce more videos for you. I do hope to see you some other time soon, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And then don't mind the rough graph. I will improve on it the next time. I will have to draw a graph in my illustration. Thank you very much and remain blessed.